look good.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Now you mentioned Champions Queue, and as we get ready for week 1, picks and bans, we can argue later on if you like the system, but it's there.
Yeah.
Picks and bans, as we try to predict what champions people are going to play. And for those of us that haven't watched a lot of Champs Queue, and there's not a lot of other pro leagues to go off of, the meta between LEC and LCS is not usually the same. Mm-hmm. What kind of picks can we expect to see?
Well, I wrote down a couple here, so I don't know if you've taken a look at them, but I'll just go through by
position. I only
position.
just noticed as I was talking that you had added to it.
Yeah, well, I just didn't want to forget in the moment. I have a habit of my brain can't keep a coherent thought going, as I'm sure everyone's been aware of so far with my rambling. But top lane, the biggest one by far has been Rumble. Rumble's been banned the most, and also I've seen played the most in the top lane. The itemization is just perfect for him. He doesn't need mana, and now Liandry's doesn't give mana, and it just gives stats that Rumble wants. And there's a couple other really solid AP items that Rumble loves to get. So Rumble's like 1 item, 2 item power spike is huge right now. So expect Rumble. Into the Rumble. Well, actually, no, we'll get to the Rumble counter after. Aatrox is also super popular. If you haven't read the new Spear of Sojin, it gives you stacking ability damage capped at 4 stacks. Each stack, I believe, giving you 2% bonus damage. So it's like an Aatrox combo. He gets to like that max damage percentage buff halfway through the combo. And Aatrox is just smashing right now.
Q3 already one-shots? So
now it's really going to one-shot. Alternatively, you can still go to the lethality build. The lethality build is still very good. So whether you're going like Bruiser with the Spear of Sojin, or you're going just pure lethality because there's a lot of squishies that you can just run at, Aatrox is solid right now. And now the counter. The counter to Rumble is actually Udyr. Udyr top lane. I hinted at in mid lane, but Udyr top lane is actually legitimately strong. There are now 2 Sunfire-esque tank items, one of which is a magic resist item, and they stack. So you can get both of them, and they do passive burn damage to everybody near you. So you can see Udyr Rich from Dignitas has been going for that tank build. We've seen players like Jenkins and other top laners. I'm blanking on names right now, but the alternative build is more of an AP burn build. So you can actually go Riftmaker for Omnivamp, and then you can go Liandry's for burn damage, and you just burn through people. That's the one that counters Rumble, because Rumble just cannot kill an Udyr. It is impossible to kill the Udyr, and he'll go Dark Seal first item and just run you down and get like 10 stacks on Dark Seal, and you're going to be screaming for your jungler to help you out. At least that's what we've seen in Champs Queue. All this is just from the Champs Queue perspective. In professional play, competitive 5v5 with everyone on comms, there's a chance some of these don't actually play out, but this is just based on what we've seen so far.
I feel like we always hear about these counters and we never actually see them. But nothing makes me happier than when we pull out the Hecarim top as the specific counter. Like nothing makes me happier.
It's going to, if you have Rich, lock in Udyr every game. That guy will blind pick Udyr into anything. I have never seen a player love a champion more. I watch him probably 20 games in Champs Queue, and like over half of them were Udyr games. Now, maybe he's gotten it out of his system though. So if you lose points from me, please don't play me. But if you get points, I'll take full credit. Okay, jungle. Lee Sin is not top of the meta, but he's good, so that means a lot of junglers will want to play him. Every jungler loves this champ. XU loves it on Dignitas. Inspired loves it on FlyQuest. Everyone's going to want to play Lee Sin. So when he's even just semi-good, you'll see him, and he's better than good. Like he's not S tier, but I'd say he's like low A tier right now. So expect Lee Sin. Expect Graves. Graves is very solid right now, and Lilia. Lee Sin's probably the most action-packed jungler. Graves and Lilia are more power farming, but other action-packed junglers, Xin Zhao and J4, are also looking pretty solid right now.
Yep. It feels like it's always Lee and J4, like every...
Yeah, right.
All the time.
You might notice most of those were AD junglers. That's because AD mid laners are not in a fantastic spot right now. AP is by far the best way to play mid. So that means you generally want AD in the jungle, so you split your damage for that mid jungle combo. Not a absolute rule, but a general rule. And because of that, AD junglers are more popular. And so as we go into mid lane, we have Orianna, Syndra. Those are going to be really prevalent right now. You can play Azir, you can play Victor, you can play Cork, you can play anything that's a mage in the mid lane, but Orianna, Syndra seem to be the most prioritized. But because of that AD lack in the mid lane, Graves is a flex pick. Graves in the mid lane was actually very popular in Champs Queue, and I see Graves getting locked in early, and then you can pivot to Lilia jungle if you really want, and then Graves can be your AD in the mid lane. Or even Elise jungle. Like sometimes we see that too.
Yep. Full flex Graves. I feel like last time we saw that it was
right?
it was top lane, then became top lane only. Like
yeah.
Graves.
Also flexible as we move into the bot lane, Lucian. I saw a couple of Lucian mid games, and a few Tristana, but she was not as good. Don't trust anyone that tries to tell you that AD LeBlanc is broken. If you see a pro player pick it, troll them in Twitch chat. I think that's it's giga overblown. Every pro I talked to was like, this is so annoying to play against. And then I watched them land 3 full combos on an 80 carry and do half their health. And I'm like, this is not broken, guys. Like, I don't know what we're talking about.
It's annoying. It is annoying.
It's annoying because you can never catch it, and it'll perma push a side lane, but it won't take a turret in, one wave worth of minions. So you're fine. Like, you got time to worry about it. But bot lane Lucian's big, specifically with Melio as the pairing. Sometimes with Nami, but Melio's the big one. You get to stack the extra damage from the Melio autos off of the Lucian auto resets. Jhin,
and also
Caitlyn,
the extra range, right? It kind of takes away one of his biggest weaknesses.
Exactly. The engage range is huge now with your E forward into the double auto. Jhin, Caitlyn are strong. Varus is strong. Ashe is strong. Pretty much early game champions. Aphelios is really the only late game, maybe Zeri champion, but we're not seeing like a lot of jinxes. We're seeing more like the Callistas and the Jinx. So expect a more early game focused bot lane, and that also spills over to supports. We see enchanters in the Melio Lulu, but also marksmen are back on this patch. We're seeing Ashe support. We're seeing Senna support be very popular right now. I have seen Caitlyn support as well. So yeah, expect bot lane to be very bloody. If your team is on red side, it's hard to know that, but you can figure out that information before going in. Like, if your bot lane happens to be on red side for both of their games, try and draft them, especially the support, more things like Thresh, Tom Kench, as opposed to what I'm saying here, because most of this applies to blue side. What the pros are telling me right now is that red side often will save counter pick for support because you're going to need something that can prevent a dive. With the map changes, red side bot lane is very diveable. It's really easy to dive it. And with J4, Xin Zhao, Lee Sin in the meta, like, you can't really pick Caitlyn Ashe and then survive a dive as red side. So the poke lanes are more on the blue side, and then you'll see some more peel options like the Amelia, the Lulu, Thresh, things like that on red side.
Yeah, interesting.
Yep.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Knock that out of the park. Give us some
I watched a lot of games on the 14.1 patch from Champs Queue, so yeah.
So you might be the number one resource for what people are going to play.
Shout out to Cubby. I think Cubby, one of the other Challengers casters, also new Hotline League co-host. He's definitely watched more than I have, but I'm curious if he would agree with everything I've just said. I at least am confident I got 90% of that correct. So
Cubby's going to be like, what do you mean Udyr top? No one's playing
What the
Udyr
hell are
top.
you talking about? Yeah.